shocker. Imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when Uncle Casey found out that the WNBA is struggling to maintain their ratings without Caitlin Clark. To make matters worse, and this is something I have definitely noticed in the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially since the All-Star game.
Here's a sharper, punchier rewrite of your paragraph. The WNBA just got hit with a brutal reality check, and it spelled life without Caitlin Clark. Ratings are free-falling faster than a Stephanie White coach team in crunch time. One groin injury, and suddenly that historic growth storyline feels more like a cheap marketing slogan. The real question is, can this league stay afloat without its biggest star even for a few weeks? Be honest, are fans really tuning in for anyone else when Clark isn't on the floor? Do you want me to spin this rewrite more asterisk, sarcastic, and roast-heavy, like YouTube commentary? Or more serious and analytical asterisk-like sports journalism?
And that problem is Caitlin Clark not playing in WNBA games. Now, what all does this affect? The ratings are plummeting. Guys, there's ratings for a couple of these games that are eye-poppingly bad. We're talking about down in unrivaled territory.
Here's a tighter, sharper rewrite of your paragraph. Here's the deal. The WNBA had one golden ticket for TV ratings this year. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. That was the money matchup. Chicago Sky against Indiana Fever. No need for a marketing think tank or fancy campaigns. Just two of the league's most recognizable names, sharing the court 5 times in a season, and boom, instant draw. Do you want me to make the rewrite lean more toward a dramatic roast style? Like calling out the league for being lazy, or a straightforward punchy analysis, clean sports commentary?
Struggling to maintain interest. Now, in fairness to the dump, the ratings I'm about to share with you guys, they're not bad. Matter of fact, some of them are actually good, at least when compared to what this dump used to draw, which was nothing. But the reason I think the WNBA is in trouble has less to do with these ratings and more to do with what I think is coming.
Got it, here's an asterisk. Asterisk tight, dramatic. And flowing rewrite asterisk of your long paragraph while keeping all the key stats and punch intact. Here's the problem. When you don't protect your stars, they don't last. Caitlin Clark has been sidelined. For over a month with a groin injury soft tissue, the kind that needs real healing, not just tape and hope, Angel Reese. Out the last week and a half. So when the WNBA's so-called golden matchup rolled around this past Saturday, neither golden ticket was on the court. The result? Rock bottom ratings, the lowest these two teams have seen since Clark entered the league. Not just down, dead. Couldn't even match last year's numbers. Now look at the trend. First meeting this season, massive. 2. 7 million average viewers on ABC, peaking at 3.1 million, up 115% from last year's ABC average. It was a perfect storm. Clark's foul controversy, her triple-double, Chicago getting torched, and the investigation buzz. Game 2, Dill. Strong primetime CBS, 1.92 million. One of the most watched regular season WNBA games since 2001. Game 3. The slide started. ABC dropped from 2.7 million to 1.9, then 1.5. That's 1.2 million fans bailing. Yes, Clark was still playing. Then came Saturday. Same CBS slot, same matchup, but no Clark, no Reese. Just 1.3 million tuned in. That's 500,000 fans saying no Clark. Pass. From May 22nd to August 10th, this so-called marquee rivalry bled 1.4 million viewers. In TV terms, catastrophic. Networks hate it.
Advertise.
And you can bet Kathy Engelbert hates it most of all. Because here's the truth. Without Clark, national interest in the Fever vanishes. Nobody's blocking out their Saturday night for Kelsey Mitchell, iso ball, or Lexi Hull spot-ups. And they're definitely not tuning in for another whistle fest from WNBA refs. Do you want me to also make a super condensed version, like 60 to 80 seconds YouTube script style, so it hits harder for video narration?
Regular season. And the craziest thing about this last groin injury with Caitlin Clark is how it's been covered. The day after she had the groin injury, she was listed as day-to-day. And then a couple weeks after that, then she was listed to being out indefinitely. Now, ESPN had August 12th as the circled return date for Caitlin Clark to get back onto the court. And just yesterday, she was listed as a game-time decision for today's game against the Dallas Wings. And then after practice yesterday, Coach Stephanie White basically came out and said, no, Caitlin Clark hasn't even been practicing. So they changed it from a game time decision to her being out.
Here's a sharper, punchier rewrite of that paragraph. So what's the league's next move? Desperation. Suddenly the whispers start. Asterisk, hey, Indiana, can you tease a Caitlin Clark return? Not actually bring her back. Just float. The idea? Drop a hint. Dangle it in front of fans. Anything to stop the ratings bleed. It's straight out of the PR desperation handbook. String people along. Promise a little hope, and pray they keep watching. Want me to asterisk, amp it up even? More with sarcasm and bite asterisk, so it sounds like you're really roasting the WNBA's marketing tricks.
And I get it to a certain extent. The fans, the media does not need to know every little thing that's going on with Caitlin Clark's injuries, especially a star player like that. We will never know all the information, nor should we know all the information, and it's actually good for Caitlin. It protects her for when she does come back on the court. She can't be targeted. Teams can't use a certain injury or ailment against her if people don't really know what is going on. But the reporting of her timeline in general, there has been no rhyme or reason to what has been shared about it. To put her as a game time decision for today's game, and then Coach Stephanie White basically coming out and saying she has done no practicing with the team, that's crazy. And I brought it up in my video yesterday.
Here's a tighter rewrite for you. But here's the problem. Clark's injury isn't the type you just tape up and push through. Rush it, and you're flirting with a long-term, possibly chronic tear. You want me to expand this? With a bit more medical seriousness to stress the risk, or keep it short and savage, to hammer the league's recklessness.
When all of these teams are at peak condition, and we already know what happens when Caitlin Clark gets back out on the court. Teams play defense on her differently. They play extra physical with her. There's all of these different factors that come into play. That's why I'm sort of leaning to the point of maybe Caitlin should be out for the rest of the season. Maybe this season is just done for her. Maybe it doesn't make sense for her to come back into the mix if the Fever aren't contenders. Are the Fever contenders at this point? I'm just not so sure. Do you risk another injury that can again compound and turn into something else down the line?
Got it. Here's a sharp rewritten version of your long paragraph. Keeping the punch but trimming the clutter so it flows. It's like a strong commentary. You'd think a league that leans this heavily on Clark for ratings would actually protect her, but instead, she gets hacked like an NFL wideout and whistled like a rookie at an open gym. No consistency, no landing space, no calls on drives. It's open season, and the fallout is brutal. Look at games without her. Sun versus Liberty. Pulled 1-8 okay. Dream versus Mercury, just 1-6 okay. If growth were real, those numbers would be double that. But the truth is simple. Clark is the WNBA's stimulus package. She plays, ratings explode. She sits, ratings crater. And this isn't a surprise. The warning signs were there from day one. If she got the same whistle Paige Buchers gets, she'd still be on the court, the Fever would be near the top, and TV partners wouldn't be panicking over free-falling viewership. Instead, networks see 1 million+ fans vanish the moment Clark's in street clothes. It's not sustainable, and it kills leverage in the next TV deal. The league's marketing is Clark and other people, and casual fans aren't. Tuning in for the other people, worse, every week Clark's out, those casual viewers find something else to watch. Habits break, and once they're gone, they don't come back. So what's the WNBA doing? The oldest con in the book-dangling game-time decision teases to milk a short-term bump. It might fool fans once, maybe twice. After that, they see through it. And when fans stop believing you, ratings don't just drop, they collapse. Do you want me to make this even sharper and more brutal, like a viral rant? Or keep it polished and analytical like a sports column?
Not be thrown back into any mix if she doesn't have significant practices under her belt before she goes into game speed. You can try to simulate game speed as much as you want in practice. You will never be able to. Game speed is game speed. There's also a lot more adrenaline, all of these different things pumping when you're playing in front of a sold-out crowd that the Indiana Fever do every single night. If I'm their coach, she needs to practice for at minimum a week. At the minimum, she needs to be doing everything in practice for at least a week before you throw her back in the mix. Now, you're going to throw her back in the mix when all of these teams are at peak.
Perfect. This is a heavy opinion-packed rant, and I'll tighten it into a sharper, cleaner version that keeps the bite and flow like something built for YouTube narration or a viral sports column. Here's the rewrite. The WNBA has built its entire season around Caitlin Clark. She's the hook for everything highlights. Promos, primetime slots, merch drops, and when the hook disappears, you're left with teams that pull smaller numbers than a boys' high school state championship. That's not a joke. Some of those games stream to 5OK locally. Meanwhile, the league's favorite buzzword is growth. Cord breaking this biggest season ever, merchandise flying. But here's the truth. Take Clark out, and that growth shrinks faster than a balloon in the sun. It's not league-wide growth. That's like saying the NBA of the 90s got bigger. No, Jordan got bigger. Big difference. And here's the nightmare scenario nobody in the league office wants to say out loud. What if Clark misses another 2 weeks? That's 2 more weeks of primetime duds. 2 more weeks of casual fans forming new habits. 2 more weeks of execs realizing their historic growth collapses the second she's out of uniform. Some fans will come back when she returns. Sure, but a chunk won't. And when the playoffs roll around, if Clark's comeback doesn't spike ratings back to May levels, what excuse is left? You can't sell momentum if your golden ticket doesn't. Cash in? The bigger problem? This injury didn't come out of nowhere. Clark has been hacked, grabbed, shoved, undercut, and the league lets it slide. Landing space violations ignored, arms yanked on drives, hacks at the rim waved off. You don't? Limp for weeks off a harmless bump. That's accumulated punishment. If she'd been officiated like a star from day one, she'd still be playing. The Fever would be dangerous, and Kathy Engelbert would be grinning in every interview. Instead, she's staring at plummeting charts while the media clowns the growth. Narrative. But let's not forget Angel Reese being out makes it worse. The league lucked into Clark versus Reese as a rivalry that moved numbers, but they failed to protect either one. Both are sidelined. And instead of a marquee clash, you've got 2 average teams and TV execs flipping the channel by halftime. The Fever without Clark aren't just less marketable, they're barely watchable. The offense stalls, spacing collapses, defenses smother their only options, and the casual audience tunes out. So what's the short-term fix? PR stunts. Her return is courtside shots of her smiling, signing autographs, doing light drills, dangle the hope she's close without actually committing. That'll buy a little time. But long-term, you either fix the officiating and protect your stars, or you admit this league rises and falls on one player's health. That's not growth, that's dependency. And any business built on one asset is one bad month away from panic mode. The owners see it, the networks see it, advertisers definitely see it. If Clark's absence can tank your best matchup by over 1 million viewers, then you don't have a star problem, you have a league problem. And the cruel irony, the WNBA actually has talent, skilled, marketable players who could carry more shine. If the league pushed them, but they don't get that spotlight, they're just others next to Clark. So when she's gone, there's no backup plan. No second wave of stars to keep fans engaged. It's Clark or bust. Right now it's bust. One injury has exposed the entire business model. If the league doesn't fix this dependency fast, fans and networks will move on before you can say growth. So I'll ask you, can the WNBA survive without Caitlin Clark? Or are we watching the start of a collapse? Drop your take, hit like and subscribe. You want me to make this even more savage and rant style like a viral roast? Or keep it analytical but punchy like a strong sports column?